Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. This is G, and this is the part two of the Leo full moon. There's just so much to look at. So that first part one, that was pointing out the fixed energy, the fixed T square, the strong fixed T square, and the astrological remedy. All right. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it below. You can go watch it. This one is going to be pointing out some of the other things that we didn't look in that video. And we're going to start off. So you see my number 8, I'm in black. So let me go to Mars. You see Mars there? Yeah, we always got to go look at Mars, right? We got to see what Mars is doing, if Mars is squaring anybody, because this is the date. This is the same time, right? The same date of the full moon, February 5th, right? Yep. So Mars is at 1123, and it's in a mutable sign, the sign of Gemini, mutable energy. It is in air, mutable air. So it's conversations, communications, all things digital, right? Devices. Yeah. Been having devices, issues with your devices, phone, computers, handheld devices, big time. But this is also automobiles. I can't stress that one enough. Mars is someone who carries a weapon. It can be assertive and very aggressive at times. Mars is out of bounds. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I have a whole series out on Mars and it's out of bounds, but Mars is definitely still out of bounds here. Gemini energy, I'll give you a quick rundown on that. It is your local neighborhood. It is when you're out shopping. It's when you go to the grocery store. It's when you're at the merchant, any like the flea market, whatever, any kind of shopping you do, clothing shopping, car shopping, whatever shopping you do, that's Gemini energy as far as the merchants and in relating with people, right? It's business, right? It's barter and trading, right? There's an exchange. They give you a product, you hand over some money, or you're using the card. That's Gemini energy. So your local community, your next door neighbors is Gemini energy. It's your schools. Think of the businesses and the structures. So it's the post office too, right? Think of the things that help that local community. What's in your local community? Okay. So that's Gemini energy. This is teachers as well, right? Teachers, schools, students, your peers. This is if you go to class and it's your classmate as well. Yeah. All that stuff. Mars is also known to carry a knife, but can absolutely use guns or carry a gun, right? Interesting. Yeah. And Mars is out of bounds and has been out of bounds and retrograded. So we're all just being smart and being alert. Now, Mars at 1123. Okay. That's number one. We'll take a look at that. And then we're going to see if there's going to be anything that's squaring Mars. Okay. So mutable signs. We've got Gemini. And then the other mutable is going to be Pisces energy. And Pisces energies, hold on a second. There you go. There's Pisces energy. There's the symbol for Pisces. And then the opposite of Pisces is Virgo. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of the screen and there's the symbol for Virgo. All right. Just so you know, I'm pointing out symbols in case we have some folks who don't know what these symbols look like, which is absolutely fine. This is right where you belong. But we're now going to go by the degree. Okay. Because again, people always ask these questions about the degrees, and that's what you want to do. You always want to look for the degree to see if it's squaring or trining, whatever you're looking for. It's that degree that matters. Okay. So 1123. So let's take a peek. Let's use my little thing here. Let's go to Pisces. Is there anything at 1123? Well, we have Venus. This is beautiful. We have Venus in Pisces at 12. And yes, it's a Venus squaring Mars, so that can be difficult. It can be. I said beautiful because it's Venus in Pisces. This is probably the one time, right? Think about this, folks. Pisces is the higher octave of Venus energy. And what does that mean? It means when Venus grows up, she becomes Pisces. She becomes like Neptune because Neptune rules Pisces. Okay. So Venus does pretty good here. All right. She doesn't do so well when it comes to shopping because Pisces can be a little bit more about fantasy and sci-fi. And so she may not be really good at managing her money right now, Venus. So that is a caution, right? But as far as Venus squaring Mars, Venus in Pisces has the ability to mellow Mars energy out. So that, I believe, is a good thing because Venus brings harmony and peace. And when she's in Pisces, it's like she's got angels around her. You follow what I'm saying? It's like she's got angels around her. Okay. She is already at 12 degrees here. So what that tells me is she's already past Mars. Venus moves much faster than Mars. So this would have been 2 days before, a day before and 2 days before. So February 3rd, 4th, and February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we would have been feeling that. But now on the day of the full moon, Venus is already at 12. So it's like she's got her back to Mars already. So we'll just keep on praying, for peace and for harmony. Okay. Now let's go look at the other square to Mars. The other possible square would be the same numbers, 11, 12, 13. And what we see is we don't have anything at 11 or 12, but we do have a couple of things at 13. These are some outer planets. Or these are some other aspects that some people look at and don't look at. This one is Isis, which is quite powerful, 1325. It's in Virgo, so it's about your bodies. It's about your daily routines possibly being just like a monkey wrench kind of thrown into daily routines, possibly because it's Mars. And that's what Mars does. Mars likes to throw a monkey wrench into Virgo's routines, and it's healthcare routines, right? It's your jobs, your tasks, your projects. So you might be told, hey, we're not doing this today, even though it was scheduled. Virgo, all about the damn schedules for sure. All right. So just look for these degrees in your own natal chart to see if you have anything. And if you have any questions, comment below and I'll help you out as best I can. Now, opposite of that would be 10, 11, 12 degrees of Sagittarius energy. And look, we have Antares, right? So Mars is opposing Antares or Antares, however you pronounce that. This is at 10. And this energy is actually, it's a really powerful point. And it's a powerful point. It can be about, it can add to judgments, unconscious judgments. And making judgments on people because it's about beliefs, because it's in Sagittarius energy. So this Mars may be tempted to make judgments on others. And so for me, that would be a point of caution if I had something in my chart at those degrees. And of course, this wouldn't be the only thing. You would want to see if you have multiple things. Somebody asked me a good question about that the other day. Should I be concerned? And it's typically only if there's multiple things, right? Like you have something over here at the 11, something over here at the 11, and then possibly a T square. But if it's just an opposition, then no, don't be worried. But if you have lots of things at those matching numbers, then it's like, okay, it's going to be a little harder than usual for you, right? Yeah, that's what will happen. Now let's be done with Mars because I can only handle so much of Mars. Let's look at Mercury because Mercury tells us what's in the news, right? Yeah, it's Mercury. The interesting thing is, so was Mars, because Mars is in Gemini and Gemini is the news. And why is that? I just said Mercury was, yes, because Mercury rules Gemini. Right. So you're right. We're hearing about this and we're hearing about this. That's right. So it's in business and government, big government, big businesses. Yeah, we're still, look at Pluto, 2849, getting close to the 29 degree mark, right? So absolutely, there's a lot going on with those who are in power. Remember Pluto, all about power, big businesses and big government. These are the long-standing structures of society. That's Capricorn energy. It's the rules. And Pluto has come to transform and change those rules, folks. Mercury's at 22, going direct. Mercury's almost done, almost out of her retrograde zone, right? Literally, we have within 2 days, Mercury will clear her retrograde zone. So by February 7th, she's out of the shadow zone. The shadow retrograde zone. She'll be clear, right? But Mars is not. And because Mars is in Gemini and the Gemini is ruled by Mercury, we're still understanding we're very much in an experimental mode. We can't hunker down and say, okay, I finally have this system and this routine, and this is the way it's going to be for a while. Now I feel stable. No, we still have instability because of Mars, folks. Okay. We still have that. Now let's look for some good news if I can. We've got the sun at 16. We know that. That's the full moon. We have Saturn at 26, 25. So that can be a bit difficult for some folks, depending upon if you in your chart have anything difficult. But let's not focus on the difficult and the negative. Let's look for the beautiful trines. Yeah. So we're looking for air. What's in air? We need, if you have anything in Gemini at 25, 26, if you have anything in Gemini, like this chart shows at 17, well, the sun is trining that. A trine means it's going to bring ease. Somebody in charge, information with friends and group energy is going to bring ease, right? It's Gemini. It could have to do with the way that you learn. Someone just kind of steps in and helps you. That brings ease, and that's beautiful. And that would also be true for anybody with Libran energy at 16, 17, 18 degrees, and then even 19, because the sun moves a degree a day. Yeah. So a day and the next day, that sun is going to trine 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 degrees, right? That's how trines go, right? They match. So it's air, and it's air. And that's a beautiful trine. Now, as for Mercury, what could it be trining? Anything in Earth at 22 degrees, right? 22 degrees of Taurus. That would be um, around here somewhere, right? So in your chart, do you have anything at 22 degrees? Let me move this little thing out of the way. Yeah. 22 degrees of Taurus, 22 degrees. Let me swing that arrow around for you guys. 22 degrees of Virgo. See how this chart has a 2335 at the fifth house cusp line? So this would just be as an example. That would be a beautiful, sweet trine. It brings ease to Virgo energy, the health, the daily routines, the work, possibly your job. Fifth house cusp line, though, is children and fun and joy and creativity. It would bring ease to. And again, it's Mercury. It moves fast. So on that day, you get along with somebody really well, right? Or you hear a piece of good news, or your romantic partner's like, hey, we're going to go out tonight, right? Or I've got special plans, or I've got a surprise, or whatever, whatever it is that would make you feel good, right? And so that's trine energy, and that's how that could play out for folks. And again, I'm doing this just to kind of try to give examples for you in your own chart of what could make things beneficial. Now, let me use the full moon as an example. All right. And we're going to take the Leo energy, right? We're over here. Let me change this out real quick. I'm going to change the color so we're going over here to Leo. Okay. We're going to Leo at 1640. What trines that? Fire. So what does that mean? It means we go to Sagittarius at 1640. And look on this chart, seventh house cusp line. See that? Seventh house, 1753, that's considered a trine, folks. So that would mean something adds ease, a romantic partner, possibly because it's Leo, or children, partnerships, Leo energy, seventh house, cusp line, my partnerships, my significant one-on-one relationships. Something brings ease. So it's got to do with the moon. It would be emotions. It could even be mom energy or someone who feels like a family member. So children and family makes a lot of sense, right? But something happens where you're like, oh, that's so great. That helps. That brings ease. That brings assistance to me. That's just what I wanted to hear, right? So from a significant partner, remember this can be personal or business. And then the other trine from the moon would be going over to Aries, 15, 16, 17, 18 degrees. And that's like over here somewhere. Let me adjust that. If you have something 15, 16, 17, 18 degrees, the moon is saying, I'm trining you. So I'm bringing you support. So something from family, possibly your own mother, even family members, even children. It's a creative endeavor too, because remember it's Leo, but it can be somebody who's in charge because it's Leo. So how many of you have moms out there who play the role of mom and dad, a strong female, right? That's kind of like this because Leo is the masculine sun energy and the moon is feminine energy. So that could be really beneficial. And if you have something in both Aries and Sag, if you had something in Aries and Sag, right, at those degrees, look how beneficial that would be. That creates a beautiful grand fire trine, which means you barely have to do anything. Something just kind of lands in your lap. It just works. And you barely got to do anything. And those can be beautiful. They can be very beautiful. Just remember, for those of you who may not have any of those in your chart, or you feel like you don't have anything like that, trines can be wonderful, but I call it a setup. People who have grand fire trines, not just fire, any sort of a grand trine in their natal chart, it makes them assume that their entire life should be like that. Yeah, they become accustomed to things just always working for them. And so when they come up against difficulties, stress, tension, where they have to compromise, they don't know how to do it. So don't feel like you have entered this world disadvantaged because you don't have a trine in your chart. Don't be fooled by that. People who have trines, it doesn't always spell out good. They're going to have a point of struggle when things absolutely will not always go their way. And they will have to learn from scratch how to make something work, how to mix water and dirt together to make mud to make a house. Like they'll have to figure that out. And if they're older, that can be really a difficult thing. It's different when you're young and you've got all your wits about you and your strength and you just feel like you're invincible when you're young. But when you get older, you kind of lose that sense of invincibility. And so this was just to say, you know what, it all washes out, in the end. Like the checks and balances, the universe has a way of bringing harmony. And sometimes it feels good and sometimes not so good. But so again, this was a quick video to see some of the aspects and to see what are some of the things that are happening and what are some of the possibilities for you in your own life, right? Because this is really about you and learning about you. And if you don't have your own chart yet, what are you waiting for? Hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.